What's shaking, guys? My name is Luke Dancy, and it is Wednesday. It is our live hangout day, and we are back again. This time, I'm not alone. I seem to be getting more and more people popping up with me week in and week out, and it's great. It's because you guys keep telling us what it is that you want. And obviously what you want is to have more and more of the guys in the magic industry that you look up to, or that you have questions for, or that we have some of the hot new releases for. And today, this is no exception. We have a control that's been buzzing around a lot. It's called the Bound Control. Shen Lim was the producer on this, and Shin is actually with me live today to chat about that and, of course, to answer any of the magic questions that you might have for him. I know there's going to be a lot out there. I'm going to do my best to keep up with all of you. And so if you have questions for us right now in real time, you can post them whether you're watching live over on our Facebook page or live over on our YouTube channel. You pick the spot, post those comments. I'll do my best to get to as many of them as I can. My name is Luke Dancy. I'm your host here each and every Wednesday at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we are back again to do this live experience for you. Last week I was in California shooting my At the Table lecture. I also brought you some live footage from the Murphy's Warehouse, never before seen. You can check that out on our Facebook page too. It was a lot of fun. I was there with Mr. Cody Nottingham. We had a blast together. All right, so first up, before we get into this stuff with Shen and the Bound Control, I want to announce a couple winners from 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, last week I had to bring the show down a little bit. I did a tribute to Daryl. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, you can check out the replay. We celebrated the life of Daryl for about 2 hours. I showed some of the clips of him performing, some pictures of him, and really wanted to bring in a tribute to a man that meant so much to so many of us out there in the magic world. You know what I mean? So up first, I'm going to announce a couple winners, like I just said. This is for Whiplash. A couple weeks ago, Josh Janowski joined me live, and I'm going to announce those winners before we jump into chatting with Shen Lim this week. Our winner over on the Facebook page was Mr. Rick D. Natali. And forgive me, Rick, if I'm pronouncing the last name wrong, but either way, you win a free copy of Whiplash, so hit me up, and we will get you hooked up with a free copy of that. So congrats to Rick. That was our Facebook friend. All you guys had to do was tell us what you do with Whiplash, and he had a pretty funny thing there talking about Dudley Do-Right. So good stuff there from Rick. Of course, not only do we give winners and magic away over on our Facebook page, we also do that over on our YouTube channel as well. And our YouTube winner for a free copy of Whiplash was Mr. JR. JR is a regular viewer, and he said he would make the gimmick kind of change into his business card appear between the two cards. Good stuff, a nice smart way to use Whiplash. So JR, congratulations to you, my friend. You are the winner for Whiplash as well. All right. Good stuff, guys. Well, that wraps that up. So now let's jump into what's good this week. There's been a lot of talk about the Bound Control, and I know Shin has posted some of this stuff on his own socials. People are buzzing about it. They've seen it. They believe it. Some people can't believe it. They say it looks too good to be true. How could he do this move in a way that looks like nothing is happening? That's why we wanted to bring Shin on to talk about that, and of course to answer any of the questions you might have for him. He's one of the most popular guys in Magic by far. You know why? Because his work speaks for itself. And that's why I like him. Hard work, dedication has all paid off and taken him to a place that maybe he never even expected he could get to. So we're going to chat more with him in just a little bit. But up first, I want to give you your first peek at the official trailer for the Bound Control. Just released today, right now. Pick it up from your favorite Magic dealer. So check it out, Bound Control. And then we'll be back with Shen Lim live to talk about that and a lot more. So hang tight, guys. We will be back in just a sec. And there you have it, my friends, your first look at the Bound Control. We'll put up the full trailer after this show so you can have a look at it. You can rewind it. You can check it out again. Again, this is available right now from your favorite Magic dealer. Today is the day that everyone's been waiting for. You know, again, this has been circulating. People have been seeing it. And so we want to bring in the man himself, Mr. Shen Lim. Shin, what's shaking, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right. Good to have you here. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Shin. I know you're a busy guy, so thanks for hanging out with us.
No problem. Glad to be here. Hey, everyone in the internet world. How are you guys?
All right, cool. Well, we've got a lot of people watching right now over on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. I know you're checking out YouTube in particular, so I'll have you try to get to as many of those clips as you can. I know there's going to be a lot, brother, so I'm sorry already.
That's okay. I'm ready.
You are ready. All right. Well, so Shin, first of all, you are everywhere these days. You're on TV. You're in Macau. You are freaking everywhere, sir. Tell me where you're at right now and what you're doing.
I'm in Boston. This is my bedroom.
All right.
This is where I like to be because I am, pretty busy, so I like to just rest whenever I get the chance to. So I have like a week off,
Nice.
no, week and a half. But then I go back for a TV show next week,
All right.
and then a gig, and then I go to Macau, and yeah.
Rest is for the weary. You don't know when to stop, do you?
No, I don't know. I just kind of look at my phone, and then when it pops up and I have a flight, that's when I'm like, okay, I have to go tomorrow.
Time to go.
That's kind of how. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the first thing, which is about the bound control. I'd love to know what your thoughts were the first time you saw it. Maybe tell me a little bit about Alex, and maybe some of the background on it, because I know a lot of people just saw it and they're like, what the hell just happened?
A good friend of mine. His name is Alex Loshlov, Russian. Really crazy Russian. So those guys are really good, and they're really perfectionists when it comes to anything they do. When he first showed me the control, actually, to be honest, I was just like, I don't understand what happened. I didn't see anything. You're just spraying a deck of cards. Like, I actually didn't believe he did anything because it just looked too good. And then I watched it the second time, and I saw, oh wait, he's controlling the card to the bottom. And it just fooled me so badly. And it's, because I do a lot of card work. I thought I would know what to look for, but this is something that's definitely that is easier than it first seems. So when you do try it out, you'll be able to get it out, I think, probably after maybe an hour of practicing or less.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what would you say is the level? I guess a lot of people ask, well, that looks like something I couldn't do. I mean, let's break the ice here. I mean, let's let the guys know.
It's the same level as, well, if you know how to spring a deck of cards, that already makes it a million times easier. Because then that's actually the main slight, is being able to spring a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
If you can spring a deck of cards, then you can do the control. You just have to do something a little bit differently, and then you can do it.
All right.
But it's I guess it would be the same difficulty as learning DB spread control. Those of you who know it, by Dan and Dave. Yeah. Oh.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Let me just pull this back up. Just looking at a lot of questions. I'm sorry, dude. There's.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought my Skype cut out because it happens a lot. So.
No. It's all good.
Apologies if it does.
I was looking at the big question a lot of people are having here is...
there's a big question about my hairstyle.
Yeah, what is going on with the hair? Everyone wants to know hair. We need to do a tutorial is what they're saying.
Get a lot of sleep and have a pillow on your head the whole time, and that kind of makes your hair like poofy. Like I'm not kidding. I actually wake up like this all the time.
Okay. Come on, dude.
No, I'm not kidding. Ask my girlfriend. I wake up like this all the time. I don't do anything special with it. The more sleep I get, the better my hair looks. So if my hair looks like really down, there's some like videos you can watch of my hair, and it's kind of like super Justin Bieber down style, and that's when I have no sleep. So.
All right, so we're done talking about the hair. Let's get the elephant out of the room. All right. Do you know what the inspiration was for the bound control? Do you know where the kind of idea came from him when he came up with that?
Well, to be honest, I think he if you've seen any of his other stuff, he's really a master at playing at doing card tricks. He's a pretty good cardist. He does a lot of cardistry, and I think that's his main back. That's where I first saw him. Right. Was his release Triangulum, and that was on. Released by Dan and Dave, and that was really cool. Okay. So that's how he kind of got popular. So I just know that he's. I don't really know where he got the inspiration from, but I feel like he can do anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, and it just looks so effortless, dude. The bound control when it's happening, you're like, well, wait a second, all he did was spring cards, and then when he did it on the table, that's what really got me, dude. When I saw that.
Yeah, that one was. Well, see, I didn't get to see the table one. He actually had sent me the in the hands version. Okay. And then he sent me the tutorial, and I watched the tutorial. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And then he showed me the table version. I'm like, oh, of course. Of course, you can apply the same thing to the table.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Actually, and as a matter of fact, the table version is easier because you're using the table to aid you for the control.
oh, that's cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's actually easier to do when you have the table. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then also on the trailer, it says that there are multiple variations that are taught but not shown. Can you give us any other ideas
Yeah.
about what else they can find
So
on the
there's a
download?
table control, and then both in the table and in the hands control, you can control the card not just to the bottom, but it's kind of hard to explain. But let's say you want to control it to the second to the bottom, and then show that the card's not on the bottom or on top. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you, brother.
Yeah, or you control it to second to the bottom, and then you can do a color change, like the Erdnase color change or something like that.
Oh wow! I never even thought of using it as like a color change. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So that way you don't always get it directly to bottom or top. You can control it near the bottom, one card from the bottom. It's really really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that there's so much you can do with it. You know, so many different variations of things that you can do with it. Because sometimes people look at a control and think, "Oh, that's just a way to do this." But it sounds like this allows you to open up, that to a lot of different things.
Bring it to and I always actually preferred bottom controls. If anyone's seen me do like not like walkaround magic, I actually do bottom controls majority of the times. I don't really do top controls because I feel like bottom controls can lead you to doing like the bottom palm, many other things actually. Yeah. So, well, then it's also because I don't usually perform ambitious cards, so that's probably another reason why.
What? You don't do ambitious card?
I'm actually I never liked my any ambitious card routines that I came up with. I was always really critical about my ambitious card, but I am coming up with a new 8-minute ambitious card act. So
from someone that doesn't do it to someone now you're gonna do 8 minutes worth.
Yeah, I'm making an 8-minute ambitious card, but it'll first premiere in House of Magic, so soon.
Which is in Macau. I'd love for you to chat a little bit about that because obviously that's something that you did a lot of right before the holidays, I think.
Yep.
Can you tell us about that experience and maybe the place? I mean, it's the House of Magic, right?
Yeah. So Macau is like the Las Vegas of Asia. So everyone in Asia who wants to go gamble, they go to Macau. And of course, with a lot of casinos, you have shows. There's House of Dancing Water, there's Taboo, and then there's House of Magic. So we are in the Studio City Hotel. It's a really nice hotel. You guys can check it out. Really great place. I stayed in there a couple of nights, but not every night. They put us in an apartment complex like right next to the hotel, and so it's 6 shows a night. And it seems like a lot, but for me, those of you who know my acts, the reset time is like really fast. So I can reset my act in like a minute. So it's really not hard for me. So yeah, and I did that gig for 4 months, and yeah, so I'll probably be going back soon around July, or I forget actually, to be honest. I know I'm going back. I have to read my contract again.
You're too busy, dude. You're too damn busy. I think that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Oh, one of the messages. Yeah, I met Ayala. I love him. Ayala's like my favorite. He was doing Mega Magic for a little bit, and we got to hang out a bunch and just do crazy things. Yeah. I can read the questions, right, on the side? Yeah,
feel free, brother. This is all about you today. So if you see anything you want to jump in and chat about, the house is yours. This is all you.
Yeah. So someone asked the question about my new act. That's one of my I have 2 new acts that I'm developing right now. So that's one of the ambitious card was one of the acts, and then the other act is a stage illusion that I've been working on for the past year already. So
wow. Shen Lim shifting.
That's the one I cut my hand with. So
now it all comes together. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty dangerous one, actually.
So speaking of that, I know that there's going to be a lot of people ask about this. Do you mind kind of talking a little bit about the story about your hand and the recovery and that whole process? Because that's a big deal for you, man.
Yeah. So I was gonna do like 2 TV shows. I was gonna do Fool Us, season 3, and then I was gonna do Next Greatest Magician, and another TV show. I forget.
Too busy.
Yeah, not TV. I was gonna do 3 TV shows in a row, which was a lot. And I was preparing for my stage illusions because I was going to do a gig. And just during rehearsal, I was rehearsing and I was careless. It was my fault. I should have been more diligent when you're handling dangerous objects. And then I just, so these 2 tendons, I don't know if you can see that. The thumb tendons right here and then one down here.
Mhm.
So those two tendons kind of meet up right over here. They meet up here, and then they control your hyperextension like that. So I cut right at the meeting point, right where those two tendons meet. I cut that, and those two tendons shot back, because tendons are kind of like rubber bands, so they shoot all the way back. So it's this hand. You can still see the scar a little bit. The doctor cleared it up quite well, but you can kind of see it.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, and it's cool because it forms an S, but I mean...
Yeah, you meant to do that. Come on.
And yeah, so I had to cancel all those shows. It was really disappointing.
Wow.
But I luckily got surgery the next day. So I was lucky enough to find a hand surgeon that was like, okay, yeah, I'll fix your tendons up. But he was telling me, like, look, you're not going to recover for 2 years. Like, you're not going to be able to do magic for 2 years. You can't pick up a deck. We don't know if you're going to be able to do the same things you used to do. Because a lot of stuff is pretty tough. So so it uses a lot of sleight of hand, and so I was pretty bummed out for a couple of months, actually. But then through the physical therapy, I really like pushed hard, and now it's back to normal, more or less.
So 2-year window is what they gave you. 2 freaking years.
Yeah, 2 years to start moving it, and then they said I won't be able to hyperextend anymore. So this is hype. So this is like giving a thumbs up, but like I can do it pretty well. I mean, it's better than right thumb almost.
Wow. So the prognosis never was a long-term serious thing, or was it? And you fought through it.
It was more or less a long-term serious, because I wouldn't be able to give a thumbs up anymore. The farthest they said I would be able to do is this, but they never said I could go all the way here.
Wow.
And for those card guys, I don't have a deck of cards, but like to do Angel, you need to be able to hyperextend. So.
Jeez, dude. Well.
Yeah, but I managed to kind of push through the physical therapy, and now, actually, believe it or not, and this kind of sounds ridiculous, but now they're doing a case study on my fingers for the hand therapist that was treating my fingers. So she's now having lectures on my case about the duration. How do I put it? So for hand therapy, they kind of they're really careful.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to overwork in fear of having the tendon snap. But for me, I didn't listen to my hand therapist. I just kind of went for it. So she believes, and I believe, that because we just kind of went for it, it allowed for my tendons to stretch and not get glued onto my skin. And that's what happens. So I believe that when you if you're too careful and you don't stretch enough, like your tendons kind of heal onto your muscles and onto your skin, and then you're unable to hyperextend anymore. So it gets kind of stuck. But because I just went for it when I got hurt, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go.
Dude, you're a beast, man.
And then and luckily I didn't break my tendons when I was stretching. I mean, I told myself, like, look, if I snap my hand, I just go get it sewn back again. So what's there's
Shin, man, you're crazy.
So I just did it. And
wow.
Yeah.
I tell you what, brother, I'm going to pull up some questions as well. I've got Facebook rocking over here, and so I'm going to pull up the old Facebook. What's going on, guys, out there on Facebook? We're not ignoring you. I see Nick Marshall saying you're very lucky in that kind of way. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what this one is. Shin, can you give us tips on how to perform magic with music? That's a good question from Pratam. This comes in over on Facebook. Yeah, magic with music. I like that.
Yeah. So for me, a lot of people ask, like, how do you do it? Do you do your act first, and then you find a song to kind of put together, or do you find a song, then you make an act? For me, it's kind of weird. It's a little bit of both. It's kind of I know it sounds like that's not the best answer you wanted, but what I do is I kind of have the idea of what act I want to do. So coin, card, whatever. It doesn't matter. If it's a fast-paced act with a lot of moments of magic, kind of like 52 Shades, then the music in it has to have a lot of beats and have a lot of tempo and moments of crescendo. Or if it's more of a slow-moving act like the Dream Act, and it kind of builds up to a finale, then you want a piece of music that has a build-up. And it's not like and it doesn't have too many beats. It just has slow beats, but it kind of builds up to a final crescendo. So you want to have that first. Second, you don't want to have a complete act before finding the music. You want to have the idea of an act in your head. Then you kind of start looking for the music that you want. And then when you find the music, make sure it matches. And then you can play it along with your act. And if it doesn't match, that's okay, because it never matches the first time. And then you kind of change up your act a little bit, play the music again. If that doesn't work again, what I usually do is I tend to start editing the music itself. So I use either GarageBand or Adobe Audition. So I start editing the music to kind of match and synchronize with the magic. And and then you just kind of just keep going back and forth, changing either the magic or changing the music. And eventually it ends up synchronizing perfectly. So
cool.
It's not easy though. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's really tough. The synchronization part of the whole process is like 60% of creating one of my acts. Yeah. So like the magic itself, like the gimmicks, the props is like 40%, and the rest is all music. So
wow. All right. Yeah. And we were just kind of peeking at the Dream Act while you were chatting a little bit there. Yeah. A lot of people don't know this about you, or maybe that they do, and I'm just not aware of it. You actually have a background before magic with music, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, classical piano.
Yeah, so that's like, obviously I would think that's probably a big kind of connection, inspiration for your magic, or is that connection lost? Or
no, I think the connection is different. For me, actually, it was sleight of hand. So because of my classical background, I feel like I managed to pick up card magic just really easily.
Right.
So I kind of, because I people ask me like how many years I've been doing magic, and I've been doing it for 9 years. And sleight of hand magic though, like shenanigans and stuff like that, I actually had created all of that only after like my 4th year of doing magic. So like I feel like I kind of accelerated because of piano, purely because of that. Not because I'm like amazing at cards or anything, but it's because I had that background in like finger training and dexterity. So I was able to kind of do the pinky count, do certain moves that require finger strength. I already had that training for so many years, for 12 years. So I had that advantage for me. Cool. Yeah. So piano, I think, helped me that way. When it comes to synchronizing music, I feel like that's something that you kind of have to train. Because it's different when you're synchronizing music with magic. It's not like reading notes and playing the piano. It's different. Yeah.
How long before you kind of got away from the piano were you doing that? Like I never knew that part of you.
So what happened was I was kind of forced out of it. So I got carpal tunnel midway through in piano school.
Right.
So the doctor was like, "Look, you either pick piano or you pick magic, because right now you're doing way too much on your wrist."
Yeah.
So at that time, I was in college. I was already doing some performing, just small gigs. But still, I was practicing a lot for magic, like maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. And then for piano, for college, you have 20 hours a week requirement. So like they sit down and like time you, make sure you practice 20 hours a week. For me, I didn't need 20 hours, but like I had to do it for the course, so I did it, and it overworked. You're practicing 13 hours a day of just sleight of hand in general, and that's not good for your wrist. And so they were like, yeah, you either choose magic or piano, or you inject cortisone into your elbow to help with the carpal tunnel. And I was like, I'm not gonna inject anything, so I chose magic.
So how long before the carpal tunnel kind of hit in? Were you into piano? That part I don't know about you.
Yeah. I was totally into piano since I was like 12.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, before that 10. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was. That was my goal. Since I was like teens and going to college, like I had a scholarship and everything for music. That was like, magic was not in my my plan at all whatsoever. It was like completely. It was just like a hobby at that time, and I was planning on becoming like concert piano. That was like that was the major, was piano performance. So that was kind of what I was.
Here's a question kind of related to that I'm going to throw to over on YouTube. So you guys, if you have questions for Shen, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, I'm doing my best to keep up. you're blowing us up today. So, someone had a question here a couple minutes ago to go with that. I'm going to see if I can find the exact question. It was about the carpal tunnel. Someone said they were starting to get it, and did you have any?
Yeah. Where's the pain right now for them?
That's something I'll have to try and.
Yeah, because the pain for carpal tunnel starts out here in the wrist. It's this kind of slight pinch, like someone's taking a needle and just like pinching your wrist. That's how it begins, and that's what we call tendonitis. That's not carpal tunnel, but it is the start of carpal tunnel. Carpal tunnel is when your whole hand goes numb. So for me, I had it in both hands, so both hands are numb. And let's say you try picking up a deck of cards, you actually can't feel the deck of cards. Like you don't know what you're touching. You're just you're putting your hand over it, and that's what it is. And so carpal tunnel is when the blood isn't able to flow completely to your fingertips, and that's why you can't feel, because you're over exerting the tendons.
Okay. Got it. Another question that came in from YouTube. I wanted to show this one. It was a good question. This is from Santiago over on YouTube. What was your inspiration to start Magic? So we know about the piano, but how did that transition go from Magic into adding, music and then adding Magic? Where was the inspiration to even check out Magic?
So is it two questions, or is it so how did I start Magic? Or
I think that's the big question. Is you were doing something else, and then something got you kind of interested in learning sleight of hand or Magic. What was that thing?
I started Magic when I was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I started Magic when I was 16. I at that time I thought it was going to get me a girlfriend. So
so Magic was the answer to meeting girls. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, at least that's what I thought. But then it turns out you actually have to talk to them. They don't care how good your double lift is. They just, So it's like, well, I have a really good double lift, but they still didn't want to go out with me. So I just kept practicing. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe if I can do a clip shift or a really good pass. And that didn't work either. So
not so much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So it wasn't like other people. Oh, I got interested in Magic because I saw a Magic kid. I saw something on TV. For you, it was
I was like, man, if I could do something mysterious, they'd probably like it.
All right, the honest answer. I like it. All right.
And the music, yeah. So that one happened later. I used to speak a lot. I don't know if there's any old recordings of me me performing Magic when I was like 17. I think there are some on YouTube. You can search. But
right.
It's like of me speaking, and it's really cheesy. It's so bad. But so I used to speak a lot, and my patter would be kind of like I don't know who. It's very scripted. It's definitely not jazzed up. Not like Danny DeOrtiz or Tamariz or anything. It was very scripted type of Magic. So it kind of flowed with my personality now, just with the patter and with script. So everything would flow, pretty well. But it still wasn't anything like it is now. Now it's just obviously silent and all to music. Yeah.
All to music. Yeah. I mean, that says a lot about you when you can go on stage and not have to say a word and just command it for like, how long is the dream at? Like 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes? What is it?
Yeah, 8.5 minutes. But my full show that I will do that I'll go without speaking is 30 minutes.
Wow.
And then after that 30-minute mark, you have to speak because then people think you're just a mute or you can't speak. So if I do my 40-minute show, I speak. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Cool. And again, guys, this is something that is out today. We want to remind you again, the Bound Control is just released today. I mean, Shin, we're very excited to have you hear about this too, because of course, everyone wants to ask you Magic questions, but this is like something that when we saw it, we couldn't believe what was going on. And for anyone that wants to check that out, they can, of course, pick it up today from their favorite Magic dealer. And the nice thing is, because it's a download, they can start to learn this like right away.
Yeah, it's really quick. It's cheap. It's just a control. So it's nothing big. It's not a huge. It's not like Shenanigans. You're not gonna have to spend a bunch of money, and you're not gonna have to be like overwhelmed by 30 tricks. It's just one slide, so it's really quick, easy, right. And it's I would say it's a medium difficulty trick.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely not advanced. Yeah.
Cool.
If you're as I said, if you already know the card spraying, then you're well on your way to being able to do the control.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, and a special thing for you guys, what we want to do today is we're going to give you a chance to win a free copy of the Bound Control. I talked to Shin about this a little bit earlier, and we're so excited to hook you guys up with a free copy. So, Facebook friends, all you need to do is post a comment. You can post a comment. Maybe it's a question for Shin. Maybe it's a something about the Bound Control that you like, or why you think you should learn it. And next week, on next week's show, we'll pick a winner and hook one of you up with a free copy of the download of the Bound Control. YouTube friends, it's a little bit different if you're new to the show. Unfortunately, the comments that you're posting live right now, they're not saved. And so when you post those comments now, I can't see them later. So the only difference for you is do the same thing, maybe some feedback for the show. If you're new to the show, tell us how you found it, or tell us why you think you should get the Bound Control. And next week on the show, next Wednesday, we will announce the winner and hook one of our YouTube friends up with a free copy of the Bound Control as well. It's that easy. So get to it. And again, this is a brand new thing that's just released. There's been a lot of buzz on the socials. I know, Shin, you put up a couple clips. What's the biggest thing you think people are losing their mind about when it comes to the Bound Control?
Just how clean it looks.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, people were just like, oh, there's a dupe. And I was just like, haha, fooled you.
Not so much. You fooled them. Yes, which brings me to a question that's been very popular both on YouTube and on Facebook as we see you guys. One of the biggest questions is, and I'm going to see if I can actually pull up the person's name here on YouTube because he's posted this a couple times. Hooded Reds said, how did it feel to fool Penn and Teller? That's a big question because you went on there, you destroyed it. I want to say that first of all. You did such good for Magic on that show. Huge props to you, man. It looked freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was a surreal experience because I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like they knew the whole time. I just felt like they knew how the whole routine worked, and it was, what can I say? I was so surprised the whole time because they were saying like, oh, we knew a little bit things here and there, and at that point I was just waiting for them to say the method. Like I was waiting for them to kind of sneak in, like, oh yeah, you're using dual blah blah blah. They're gonna somehow sneak it in somewhere, and then I would have been like, oh yeah, you're right, thank you. But like no, they ended up talking about the marker, which was great.
What was the thing that you thought would fool them?
If out of the whole act?
Yeah.
I actually really genuinely thought none of it.
Oh, wow.
I genuinely believe that I thought that they would have known everything because, I mean, the marker, let's say they don't know exactly how it vanished, they would know if flipstick was involved, perhaps, or some sort of back palming. So they would have kind of derived it from that. They would have said, oh, you did some sort of back palm of such, and then I would have had to say yes. Because that's how the previous acts went. Like they kind of figured out a little bit of the method, and then they kind of figured the whole thing out. But so that's how I thought it would have went. That's how I thought the whole thing was going to go. But wow. I was genuinely surprised. I was completely ready to not fool them. So I went there knowing, or not knowing, but expecting them to not be fooled. So
all right.
It was a good surprise for me. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go back on to YouTube real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. There was one question. Tips for small hands, and actually I have some notes to say. There's a lot of magicians that say like, oh yeah, this hand size doesn't matter, blah blah blah, and that's actually not true. That's completely not true because I know some magicians that have the windows beyond belief. Mm-hmm. Some magicians my hands are extremely skinny. They're not small, but they're skinny. So if you can see my windows right here, I can't close that up. I have to do this to close it up. But then again, I also have windows here that I can't block out. So there's so many coin slides that I can't do because of that. But what you can do to go around that is to change the finger positions or just not do it. Do a different slide to achieve the same effect. So let's say you can't palm a card, then you can do the lateral palm instead, or you can do a tenkai palm instead. So yeah, don't get discouraged because you can't do a certain sleight because of the look of your hand or because of if it's too skinny or whatever. There's always another way around it. So yeah, for those of you who have odd hands like me. Yeah.
All right. Here's another thing that people keep asking about is, when it comes to things like the Dream Act, 52 Shades of Red, some people say, well, they're not such good, I guess, performers when it comes to like creating a presentation or whatever. Do you think that, because here's the question here, I see this one a lot too from regards, 52 Shades of Red, V3, are you going to maybe do one? Because you keep evolving stuff. And do you think you're going to continue to add to the things? Or I know earlier you mentioned about the ambitious card routine and putting a lot of effort into this act. Like, do you continue to build on these things, or do you look at other things and kind of try to? Okay.
Yeah, I always change up my. The Dream Act has changed a lot since Foolus. So, yeah, anyone who sees because I am going to perform Dream Act again in Macau, and if any magicians go over there and check it out, they'll see differences between that and Foolus. Improvements, I think. I would hope that it would be improvements. Because I perform it quite a lot, so not that it gets boring, but I like to always change things up, so I try to change it as much as possible.
Sure.
52 Shades has changed as well, since if you guys have seen the first performance of it, it's changed quite a bit. So yeah, I do change it up quite a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, whenever I can.
Here's a good question, and I know this one's going to be a hot question, Shin, so I'm going to get this one kind of out of the way here. When it comes to creating magic, my friend Ito over on YouTube, what's up, Ito? He says, how do you create magic? Creating magic is a big topic in general, Shin. Do you have any tips, maybe any thoughts, or just some general advice when it comes to creating your own magic? Good question.
For me, I have like two different sets of creating magic. One is creating moves or gimmicks or like kind of like one trick effects that I couldn't put in a routine. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like the first types of effects I create. And then the other section is routines. 52 Shades, Dream Act, my new ambitious trick, or whatever you want to call it, or my other stage illusion. Like, so those are just routines. And so in those routines, the tricks, all of it may not be completely original, but the routine itself is original. And so there's different ways to create each thing, I guess. So for routines, I kind of went over that with the music and how the thought process of synchronization and stuff like that. When it comes to like gimmicks and just like one trick things, sleights and moves, those are just when I'm kind of hanging out and just relaxing, and an idea kind of just pops in your head. You just go for it. I feel like creating is something that you can't force.
Yeah.
You can make your brain think about. Let me put it a different way. There is a technique to make you create better. There's that, and how you do that is by always thinking, how can I improve something? For me, at least that's how it is. So if I see a trick that's been released, and then I see the method in my head, I always kind of imagine what I can do to improve that effect.
Right.
And so, or even a classic from a book. And so if you have that mentality, then you actually eventually start creating your own stuff, just through constantly changing what's already been done.
Cool. All right. Good thoughts, man. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah. And I guess the same thing applies to routines as well. Although routining is a little bit different. Routining is more kind of making a set piece that's your style. So it really depends on style, and so that in itself will make it unique. Like kind of like if you watch like Dan Sperry, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's like the most unique.
Oh yeah.
And but his style and character and everything. I love his performance. Is great example of being a unique performer and having a unique routine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Back on Facebook, good question over here from my buddy Brandon Barrett. Brandon says, how many methods do you go through to find the most fooling method, or do you not focus on fooling at all? So I guess method-wise, do you find yourself going through a certain kind of process, or?
Dude, that's a great question, because I forgot to touch on this when I was talking about routining. Every time I create a routine, I know there are some magicians that genuinely create a routine to just specifically for a lay audience, and then there's some that will create a routine specifically for magicians, kind of like a magician's magician kind of thing. Mm-hmm. For me, I always try to strike a balance. I believe a balance is actually extremely important when it can both please the audience, lay audience, and the magicians. For example, if you look at a movie, And this is a great movie. Don't get me wrong; it's not a bad movie by any means. But No Country for Old Men.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie. It won the Oscars and everything, and it's a perfect movie in every way. But like my mom hated it, my dad hated it. Majority of people I know don't really get it. They don't like it, and so I feel like that's one example of a movie where it would please only like moviegoers or people or movie critics, right? So, but then there's a movie like Transformers, where the mass public love, but critics hate, and someone that watches a lot of movies, I also don't really care much for Transformers. But then if you see a movie that strikes a good balance, like Inception,
oh yeah,
that's everyone loves that movie, both critics and lay audience. And so I feel like that's the same style, like that I tried the same type of goal for me when I'm creating a routine, is to kind of strike a balance, a perfect balance between fooling both magicians and lay audience, making it entertaining for both, because I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's important. So
cool. I actually have a clip from one of our viewers. I don't know if he was able to make it or not, but he sent me a clip asking a couple questions for you. So our buddy Chris here. I'm going to play the clip, and then I know that you're kind of trying to pay attention to what's going on with the show. Yeah. So I'll play the clip, and then I'll summarize his question for you. But this is a good one when it comes to some of the stuff and your. And I think he just also wanted to say hello. I think he's a big fan. He kind of reiterated he's a big fan and the inspiration. That's one thing I want to ask you is, like, you've been around magic now for a while. You've done so many things. How does it feel to be someone that a lot of the new people, or even some of the people who've been around for a long time, you're an inspiration to a lot of people. And how does that feel, kind of being up at the top of that mountain? You've done so many different things with your magic. You've done releases, you've been TV, you've blown up the internet. I think the Dream Act alone had 33 million views on your channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, but at the end of the day, look at you. You're just this cool, kind of humble guy with good hair, and how does that feel? And when it comes to that kind of spot in magic, and I have a follow-up question to that was like, how does it feel to be in that position? Because you're still young and all that too,
It's weird. Like, I've been recognized a couple of times, like in the airport and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And even in Macau, like, I've been recognized a couple of times, and it's just the weirdest thing. Like, first of all, now I'm just like, I can't act like really silly in public anymore. I have to
come on,
like prim and proper, and like because I'm a goofball. I don't know if anyone knows me, but I don't take myself seriously at all. So I'm nothing. I am nothing like I am on stage. I'm the most relaxed, forgetful person you'll ever meet. So I'm no way perfect when it comes to being just like a normal person. I'm totally imperfect when it comes to that. Like, I can barely do my own laundry. Like, my mom has to help.
All right, then. All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but the problem with that is it kind of, you have a lot of high expectations. That's the word. Well, and so for when you're creating your new act, you have all of this. I don't know, like, you feel like the next thing you have to create has to be like, better than the Dream Act, and I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. You have that question, that voice in your head saying like, "Oh, that's not good enough," or "You'll never be able to create anything as good as that." So yeah, there's that as well. Okay. Let me turn the lights.
Yeah. Okay. There was another question that popped in. I'll just pop up YouTube again, and you guys have a lot of questions, and thanks for all those questions, guys. We see out there. This is one that kind of followed up on some of the things you were just talking about a couple minutes ago with things that inspire you. Who was your biggest inspiration in magic, or who are your biggest inspirations in magic? Because you kind of pull from so many different areas. You're a purist when it comes to sleight of hand. You're not afraid to use gimmicks. You use music. You have a theatrical presence. Who's kind of inspired you within the magic community when it comes to people you look
definitely up to? More than one person. So I can't name just one. I'll name a couple of people.
Okay.
So the very first guy that inspired me when it came to style, presence, moving slowly, was the red envelope. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. It's so embarrassing. David Sousa. Thank you. Sorry, David Sousa for Red Envelope. He when I first saw him, I was like, whoa, that's a cool magician, and that's someone I want to be like, kind of. And so his act actually inspired more or less the Dream Act. There was one moment in his act where he made the ace jump from hand to hand, and I was like, oh man, I want to be able to do that, but having it signed. So that really paved the way for the Dream Act, and that was kind of just the starting part of the creation of that. And his overall look, I mean, the red you can see, yeah, kind of thing. So that was kind of the first start. And then for visual magic, like gimmicks and overall synchronization to music, Jean-Pierre Ballerina.
Nice. Love that. Cool.
Of course, I actually wanted to do a lapping, or not lapping, but a sitting down act, but then I eventually figured that wasn't my style, more standing up. So, cool. But Jean-Pierre Ballerina really influenced me to kind of have that strong impact, the kind of like boom, like especially 52 Shades, just like start out strong, keep being strong, and then kind of flow down and then come back up. And so he has that type of charisma and style in his magic. So that was really cool. Yu Ho Jin's another great one.
Oh, God.
If you're watching that. He's a good friend of mine, too. He's a super cool guy. He when I saw his act, that's an act I've seen it probably more than 100 times. Probably like 200 times. I've seen his act. 200 of those views out of the millions of views he had. I've seen that act so many times, and it's like the most beautiful act for me when it comes to card manipulation. Because I wasn't a huge fan of card manipulation. I saw An Hao Lim. Those of you, I don't know if you guys know him. He produces like a bajillion cards out of his hands, and don't get me wrong, that act is amazing, but I felt like it was kind of the same thing over and over again. I felt like once he does that for 30 seconds, you don't need to do that anymore. You should do something else, because then at that point, people are just like, okay, you're making cards appear. That's good for you. And so when I saw Hojin, man, that was something. It was breathtaking.
You can tell just from the way you're thinking about it.
It was just a different type of production every single time, and that was a crescendo. And so that really inspired me to create an act that I tried to be beautiful and tried to have a crescendo all the way throughout to the end. And yeah, cool. And then the last guy, David Stone.
Oh,
David
Stone.
It was one of the first DVDs I've ever had. A really charismatic guy. I tried to be like him, then I realized I couldn't. His style is so crazy, and I tried to be like that at one point in my life, but couldn't. Right. And but yeah, no, that's where I card to mouth. That's where I learned it from. It was French Kiss in his DVD, Real Secrets of Magic.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
Yeah, he's great. He's one of my favorites. And then a couple of magicians along the way, but those were the main magicians that really inspired me. Cool. Yeah, when I was young.
Cool. Well, keep those questions coming in, guys. This is a lot of interesting stuff to find out about Shin. We're all together here now, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. I'm doing my best to keep up. A lot of questions. I know Shin's keeping his eye on YouTube in particular, so he is out there watching. Again, this is to remind you that we are here as a debut today of the Bound Control. I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that, and you have a chance to win a free copy of the digital download. Facebook friends, just post a comment. Tell us maybe where you're tuning in from. If you're a new viewer, tell me how you found the show. Or if you think you need to learn the Bound Control for one reason or another, tell me why. YouTube friends is a little bit different because you guys are watching live and your comments aren't saved. Post a comment after this goes up as an on-demand. Tell me maybe some feedback for the show. If you have any other thoughts about Bound Control, maybe what you would do with it. Post something. We'll post a winner next week right here on the show. So good luck to all of you guys, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We want to make sure you guys are hooked up with the good stuff. So a big thank you again to Shin for joining us. Shin,
How do you make your hair look awesome even though it looks like a total mess?
It's a popular question, dude, about the hair. I mean, come on.
So that's a good question.
But thank you for again spending some time with us to talk about this, because you are the producer of the Bound Control. So we appreciate the time for sure and the input that you have about it. So thank you for that. I tell you what, Shin, I'm going to give you a quick little break. This is only like a minute clip, but we always do this each and every week. So Shin, take a quick little break there.
Yeah.
Guys, hang tight. We'll be back in just a second here For all of our new viewers, this is your chance to get hooked up with 5 free tricks. That's right. You get your first one emailed to you today. The rest of them come each day via email. These come from Mr. Greg Wilson, one of the best guys around, also a great teacher of magic. So hang tight. I'm going to run this for you real quick, and we will be right back with more questions and thoughts from Shen Lim himself. So if you have any other comments or questions, post them in that comment section right now, and we will do our best to catch up with them. We'll be right back.
I'm going to do everything I can to not sound like a sales pitch. But listen, 5 free tricks right out of my repertoire. They're fantastic, part of my immodesty, but they're impromptu. Listen, pens, bills, everyday objects, anytime, anywhere, you'll love it. Just hit the subscribe button, have a lot of fun. We'll see you on the other side. You can always hit the unsubscribe button. I don't recommend it, but did I mention free? 200, 300, 400. What? It's great. We'll have some fun. All I have to say is limited time offer. While supplies last, operators are standing by. See you soon.
All right, my friends, there you go. 5 free tricks from us to you. Get hooked up with those today and never look back. All right. Speaking of looking around, I've been checking out YouTube, as Shin has as well. We've got Shin here with me again, and we were chatting just a little bit during this about a question that keeps popping up over on YouTube. So I'm going to throw that up right now, and we'll get Shin's thoughts on a very, very common question. One of these is about, this one comes from Coaster Magic over on YouTube. What do you feel about revealing magic on YouTube? So Shin, you know, there's been a lot of exposure. People talk about stuff. They post up videos of how stuff works. How do you feel about all of that, I guess, in general?
Well, I'd be a hypocrite if I said that's a bad thing. You know, because I learned from YouTube when I was younger as well. I had very little money, and that's all where I could learn from was YouTube and some books. But it's pros and cons. I mean, the pro is it's free, and everyone it's younger kids who can't afford DVDs or something, because DVDs are pretty expensive these days, and so it's a good place for them to learn. But the bad part is there's just a lot of bad tutorials out there. That's plain and simple. And I have a lot of bad techniques because of that when I was younger learning. So sometimes I wish either I had a mentor or I had there were proper tutorials on YouTube teaching it correctly. And that's about it. I mean I can't really say much else about it. I'm not going to say you shouldn't upload free tricks on there, as long as you get the crediting right, as long as you teach it properly. That's all that matters, really.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have another question, Shin, coming in. This one's from Facebook. So Facebook friends, we are out there as well watching you guys. This one comes in from TJ Anderson. This actually is a question about something I wasn't even aware of, but maybe you can fill me in. TJ's saying, Shin, how often do you use the Queen of Hearts reveal tattoo that you have? So you have a tattoo of a Queen of Hearts. Queen of Spades, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so how often do you use that?
Every performance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. I do a I don't know if you guys saw I do like a force, but I don't do a riffle force anymore. I do a cut force, and force and the Queen of Spades. I do a couple of tricks before that, and then I lead up to the tattoo reveal. So
okay. Cool. I had no idea you had a tattoo there, so that's something.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not the actual Queen of Spades from the deck. It's a mix of that, and I told the tattoo artist to kind of simplify the drawing a little bit.
Okay.
So
cool. All right. Here's a good question. I like this one. This one comes in from YouTube. This one comes from Malai. I'm having trouble pronouncing the name. It's a pretty interesting name here. I'm just gonna make sure I grab this for you here. This one is about a topic that I love. This is a topic about books. Malai is saying, which books do you recommend us to read to master our skills? I guess let's talk about that too first. We'll get back to that question in just a sec. In general, do you think that guys are missing out these days, the younger guys, by not reading books? To me, that's a really touchy topic because I have a very strong opinion on it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as kind of a younger guy.
For me, I couldn't read books. I can't read books because I'm dyslexic. So
okay. Got it.
Every time I tried that, I did horribly in school.
Okay.
I barely passed English class. or anything. Only when it came to like creative writing. If I was writing, then I would do well. But if I had to do reading or of any sort, even math problems, I couldn't. I just couldn't read the instructions properly or the question properly.
Okay.
So for me, reading books is really, really tough. That's why. But I did read Card College Volume
Boom. Love
4
it. Love
or 3. I read one of the volumes by Roberto Giobbi, and it's great. That's one of the books I recommend. I also read Expert at the Card Table. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And those were about it. And Royal Road to Card as well.
That's a good one.
Oh wait, and there was another one actually. I read Mnemonica as well by Pontero. So I did read a couple actually, but it's very hard for me to read. So I would have to, kind of read it and go over again and again to kind of register what I just read. So for me, learning via videos was definitely easier. So when it comes to books, if you can read it, I really think you should, because I think there's so much more information in that than videos. Because these days there's a lot of one-trick DVD type things, which is not a bad thing, but if you want to learn a good solid basis on card magic, like if you're a beginner and you want to have like a solid ground on basic card sleights, then books is definitely the way to go. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that, sir. Like I said, guys, I'm doing my best to keep up. The questions just keep pouring in. It's like an avalanche here that just won't stop. Here's a question from YouTube. Is there any potential, Bronwyn says, for a Shen Lim gaff deck? That's an interesting question. Now there is.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So like 52 Shades, because that's a gaff deck by Shen Lim. So technically, that's already
True.
a Shen Lim.
All right, that's fair. All right, touche.
But you can ask it again. I mean, maybe there's another.
Here's a question that kind of goes in relation to that, because it's the Shin Lim Presents product, okay?
Okay.
What's your favorite one out of the whole line? Do you have a favorite Shin Lim Presents product that you've released? Come on, man. There must be one. Come on.
I'm going to make some people mad here.
All right, here we go.
Oh, man.
On the spot.
It's tough because I have a lot. I mean, I love all of them.
Well, of course.
And they're all my friends, so
it's like picking a favorite kid.
I can't answer that one.
All right.
Can't answer. Sorry, guys.
All right. I'll let you off the hook this time. All right.
Yeah.
Here's a question. I know we talked a little bit about it earlier when it came to how to create. Do you have any tips for creating your own magic? I know that some people kind of take ideas from other people and things like that. Bryce is asking this. When it comes to like kind of finding your own way with magic, so many people now, that's the problem, in my opinion, is a problem, and maybe you could kind of reiterate on this too. People are so quick now to just jump in and create. I mean, from someone that's your age, someone that's very well respected, do you think the whole like getting new into magic and then jumping right into creating, do you think it's all a little bit premature these days?
Yeah. I get that feeling too from some people that submit their effects to me.
Sure.
And they're always like, what about this? Or what about this trick? What about this trick? And you know what? I'd be a hypocrite if I was saying that they're doing not that they're doing something wrong, but that I was never like that, because I feel like I was like that too when I was younger.
Sure.
I wanted to get out there, and there are some effects that I'm not proud of, and so every kid's like that when they're younger, and I think it's just a age thing. I think once the older you get, you kind of just learn to be patient and learn to master something and then release it. Because most of the requests I get are from like the younger magicians who just want to get out there and get their name out there, and that's totally understandable. Like I get it, because we were all there once. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another question from YouTube. This one comes in from who was it here? Magic Dude 321. I believe that's my buddy Chris. In Bound Control, the new download that just came out today. Doesn't matter if you spring your cards from your fingers or your thumb. I know we don't want to get too into like the details, but doesn't matter.
Yeah,
do you need to spring a certain way? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it does matter. So, but oh wait, hold on, that'll get into it.
Yeah, I got tiptoe.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna stop there.
Okay, all right. So it does matter. Okay, cool. Do you see any other questions out there that are really like jumping out at you? Because I don't want to just
No, I think this is a great one. Any tips on interacting and making contact with your audience when you're doing act to music?
good one.
And that's a really great question by Keem. Keem Kime Magic. Yes. So that is an excellent question, and that's something that I had a lot of trouble with when I was first starting. Because, you know, people are kind of like, oh, well, what's this weird guy? He's not smiling. He's being really serious, and he's not talking, and he's doing kind of weird magic with cards. So, you know, that's something that that's the main issue with doing doing magic to music without speaking, especially if it's close-up magic. Because close-up magic, it's very tight, right? You're not expressing yourself to the audience. Because with stage illusions, you're able to kind of go on stage and show your charisma. Close-up magic, you can't, because you're so focused on your hands and with the cards or coins or whatever object you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And that's why, you know, close-up magic, usually people have a patter, people talk, you know, you make people laugh. One of the judges, one of the competitions, gave me a 0 because he said, your magic's not close-up magic.
Wow.
Yeah, he's watching Dream Mag, and he's like, you didn't make those two girls laugh, the two spectators on the other end. That's not close-up magic. You know, I'm giving you a 0. And so, you know, it's kind of a tough thing to deal with, but and here's how I kind of went around it. There's no direct way to get around the whole not communicating with the audience, because you're not. The best way I found to do this is to maintain eye contact. And when you're maintaining eye contact with either the camera or the audience, it has to be sincere. You have to find moments in your act where you're able to kind of take a rest and look at the audience, smile a little bit, or you can be emotional as well. I call it the Shen Lim look. You give the Shen Lim look to the audience. It's like looks like this. That looks something like that. And so you have to momentarily give those looks to the audience, and that's one way for them to connect. Another way is also music. So if your act is already synchronized with the music, what you're doing is completely what's the word? I guess I don't want to use the word synchronized so much, but yeah, synchronized is the best word I can use. If it's completely synchronized, like if the music's going up at the crescendo, your magic is also becoming stronger and better and faster. And so if that happens, your audience is able to connect through the music to you. It's just the way it is, because when the music kind of makes them feel a certain way and your magic matches that, that's when it hits their like emotional point. That's when they connect. So that's just a different way of connecting with the audience, rather than, you know, a comedian making them laugh. It's the same thing. So yeah, it's still possible. It's just I think it's definitely harder. It's definitely trickier, but it's definitely possible. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Good stuff, man. A lot of good insight here. I mean, a lot of detail. As you can see, there's a lot of thought that goes into this stuff, and it's not just the thought when it comes to the tricks. There's so much more beyond that. I think that's something we could all take away from hearing you talk, is, you know, a lot of the detail that you're, you know, working on here when you build these routines is in those small touches, those small details, because they tend to make the biggest difference overall with this stuff. So I love that. Hear that and hear it well, guys. Very good stuff. Let me see. There's a question here over on Facebook. This one comes in from Nicholas Riggs. Speaking of something like the Dream Act, when did you create it? How long did it take you to develop the Dream Act? I mean,
well, at first the Dream Act was actually a talking bit, so I had patter.
Okay.
And that was 3 years after I created it when I was 19.
Wow.
So that was, I don't know how long ago that was. I'm 25 now, so 6 years ago.
God,
yeah,
dude.
6 years ago.
You've
6 or 7.
done so much in such a. I mean, you're only 25. I mean, it's God. There's people like you out there. There's the Kayla Morellis. There's the Stephen Brunages. All you like younger guys, just killing it, man. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. What do you think the biggest thing is for you? You've been around magic now for quite some time. What do you think is your proudest thing? What do you think that one thing is? You go, you know what? This is what I'm proud of being a magician. Like, what do you think that one thing is?
Like a release or just a
No,
routine?
man, no, not even talking about products here. Let's just get real, like just magic talk. Like, what do you think is the one thing that you go, you know what? I got into this stuff and I'm proud that I was able to do this for magic. What do you think that is? That's a big question. I know it is, but you're also someone that people are looking up to and going, man, this guy is like on top of the game. So,
I think black art.
okay.
And I don't want to sound like pretentious or anything, but like I feel like I'm the first guy to kind of push black art out and make it for close up, like make it like popular for close up. You know?
That's fair, dude, and I can understand, and this is why I like you. You're being humble, but you know the impact that you've made, and I really appreciate that about you. You know, and I'd agree, because a lot of times when you see black art, was it Omar Pasha, the guy that did the stage act?
Oh yeah, that's where I got my influence from for 52 Shades.
You know, you see stuff like that, and then you think, well, there's no way that I could use that, but it's such a great tool. Now look what you've done with it in so many different ways, and I really like that that you answer that, because I think that's important, dude. That, I mean, you've done a lot of good for Magic in general, and I love it that the someone like you that's so young and so dedicated is on here doing this right now, because there's something I tell guys all the time, and that is that if they want to get good, if they want to have success, there's only one way to do it, and that's to work for it. And you are a workhorse. I mean, listen to you. You're like, I need to take a week off because I'm doing this and that. I'm performing here. I'm traveling there. Like, you got to put the work in, right, to get where you want to go. And there's no shortcut to that.
No, definitely not. And, there's so much trial and error, too. Even the black art, speaking of black art, like it took me 3 years of performing 52 Shades to find the right type of black art material to use. And I finally have the right kind. And, now I'm able to perform it, like, even under bad lighting conditions, So it takes a lot of trial and error, really. But once you get it, then
All right. Cool. I'm going to throw another question up here. This is one I really like. I'm just going to grab this. It's over on Facebook. A lot of good questions, guys. A lot of good stuff over here. This question comes in. Let me just pull this down. Yes, Matthew David Sheely, one of our regular viewers. Good to see you, Matthew. What does your practice routine consist of? I like this a lot because it's going to give us a good peek behind the curtain of what makes you tick when it comes to practicing. Do you have a regiment? Do you get into this place, this special place? Like, what is it for Shen Lim that makes him get into that zone of practicing?
Yeah, for me, sounds weird, but I'm kind of like a mad scientist when it comes to creating an act.
Okay.
I won't eat or sleep until I fully create the 8-minute act.
Wow.
I'm dead serious. So if I have an idea in my head with the magic, let's just say it starts out with the magic. I want to create a coin routine or a card routine. It kind of usually starts out like that. And then I kind of have another idea, like, oh, this could be the ending, or this could be the middle, or this could be the climax. Starts out like that. And once I kind of have a solid structure of the whole act, then comes the music. And once I find the right music, boom, I'm not eating for the next 8 hours. Water, but that's about it. Because I'll keep going until I complete the entire act, synchronizing the music and everything until I'm done. And then once I finish, then I go back to my daily routine. So I kind of just go right at it, because once you start finding that drive, once you kind of get the hang, like the momentum. Once you get the momentum, that's when you got to just go for it, because you don't want to lose that momentum. Once you lose the momentum, that's when the act kind of just goes downhill. Yeah. So you just kind of go at it while you're feeling good, and once you finish the act, then of course the act is done. You have the act in your head already. You know what to do, and then
Cool. All right. Another couple questions coming in. I've seen this a couple times, Shin, over on YouTube. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. You don't have to go into too much detail. Benjamin CMV was asking. I just saw my buddy Nick pop up as well. What are your thoughts on Cardistry? It's this new kind of evolution of Magic that started out kind of with just general flourishing.
It started out like with Magic, but now it's on its own. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I used to do a lot of it. I wasted like 3 years of my life when I was starting on Dan and Day's trilogy. That was a lot of time. It's great. Cardistry is great. Yeah. But unfortunately, and I know a lot of you guys won't like the answer, but I don't think it should be done with magic. I think it can be done while you're doing magic, but not. It shouldn't be inside the routine. It has to be placed very, very, very carefully, because let's say you're doing a triumph routine, right? Mm-hmm. And you shuffle the face down cards and the face up cards. You show the face down, face up cards, and then you do Sybil, and you're like, "Wash! I'm unshuffling the cards right now." Put the cards together, and then you spread the deck, and now it's fine. Well, the spectator's gonna be like, "Well, of course you unshuffled the cards. You're showing me how you're unshuffling it." So it's kind of that. That's like the best example I can give of improperly doing cardistry in a magic routine. How I do cardistry in a magic routine is, like, let's say I'm doing walkaround. I do this all the time. Most people don't know who you are, so you're walking around, and I do a card spring. I do a really loud card spring. For those of you who have ever heard my card spring, I do. It's kind of a different variation of the regular one. It comes off your thumb. So when it comes off your thumb, you're able to kind of clap your hands at the very end.
Right.
If those of you, actually, maybe I can show it a bit here. So when it's coming off your thumb, you can kind of slap the cards together, and that creates a really loud sonic boom. And after that, people kind of go like, "Whoa, what just?" And then right after that, I go right into a wind shell. Oops, sorry, by Frankie Morales. Let me do that again. That was pretty bad. Like that. And so immediately after that, people kind of just start looking at me, and they're like, "Okay, this is interesting." And then the more they look at me, they kind of go, "Oh, okay, he's a magician." And then immediately after, all I do, like, just a minute, 2 minutes of cardistry, I go like this, and immediately they pick a card. I don't even have to say anything.
Got it.
So for me, when you're doing walk around and you know, you do the whole like, "Oh, hey, can you pick a card? Okay, can you sign the card?" Like, that all takes like a minute, and they don't even know who you are or what you're doing.
Sure.
For me, I'm introducing myself without saying a word. So that's how I use cardistry.
Okay.
Yeah. But then there's also other times where I don't. There are other times where I introduce myself and I say I'm a magician, blah blah blah. But yeah, there's a time and place for cardistry. I just don't do it during magic, like in between a magic routine. And I've seen some magicians do that, and it's kind of weird. So
here's a question to kind of bounce off something that you just said when you're talking about, you know, not talking with stuff, you know, kind of introducing who you are without having to say much. Here's a question that came in over on YouTube from Eva. Eva's saying that she or he, I think it's a girl. I watched a video in your YouTube channel. You're performing on a Russian TV show. How is it when you're performing with people they don't understand you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's What's going on?
Yeah, and
with
I was
that?
doing mentalism too, so that was definitely a challenge. But you know, you got to speak slowly. You got to be confident. You have to be very confident with these things. You cannot stop your momentum, because then that's when everything kind of gets awkward with the translation. And when there's a pause, that's when the whole thing kind of crashes down. So you got to keep going. You got to be very confident. You have to just kind of trust in what that they know what they're doing, and also you have to have a lot of good hand gestures. So let's say you want them to cut the deck. You make sure you gesture, cut the deck like this, blah blah blah, and then they'll do it as you do. So because, you know, not everyone knows English, of course, and even if they do, you know, they don't know Americanized English. You might speak too quickly. So just speak slowly, but also, you know, have some pauses in your routining, enough for them to kind of understand what you want them to do, and then go for it. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, someone says, "Oh, Oscar Munoz is watching." He says, "Magic's a universal."
Hey, Oscar, what's up?
Good guy, right? He says, "Magic's a universal language." I love that. Great words there from Oscar. Yeah, good stuff. Again, guys, I want to remind you that we are here chatting with Shen, and we're both very excited about the bound control that's just been released today. Again, if you're interested in checking that out, it's available now from your favorite magic dealer, and it's a download, so you can actually check it out and start learning it right away. And again, we're excited to give you guys a chance to get your hands on a free copy. So all my friends that are out there watching over on Facebook, post a comment. Maybe tell us why you should get the bound control, maybe what you use it for, maybe just some feedback. If you're a new viewer, tell us how you found the show. Our YouTube friends, same thing, a little bit different because you are watching and your comments aren't saved. they go away. And once the on-demand goes up, as the replay goes up, post those comments as well. Tell us something about the show that you like, maybe some feedback, and we will pick a winner next week to hook up both of you guys, Facebook viewers and YouTube viewers, for a chance to win a free copy of the Bound Control. Shen, how about them apples?
I found a good question on YouTube. What's your how do you mentally prepare for a large performance? I think that's something
That's a good one.
A lot of young magicians might be afraid of, like if they're doing a first stage show. Man, so my first couple of shows were pretty small. One was for a church. Most of them were for competition. So that's for 40, 50 people. My first major one, though, this was a pretty big moment in my life, was I was on a China tour, and the audience, the seating was I think 1,500, 1,800. That was my first major contract. So for me, that was whoa. I'd never done anything like that in my entire life. And all I was doing was Dream Act and 52 Shades at that point. And I was like, okay, first of all, how am I going to even entertain all these people? It's going to be the most awkward thing ever. So I was very, very nervous. The best thing to do mentally is to actually just do it. Because the first time you do it, you're going to be scared. Your hands will probably be shaking, and that's normal. That's totally normal. So if that's happening to you while you're on stage, that's just fine. Just make sure you just go through the whole act. And after you kind of pass that first step, the next show will be easier. The show after that will be easier. And it's just you just have to do it. So definitely don't back out. So I've seen something that happen before. So don't back out. Just do the show. Once you finish it, even if you messed up, it's a learning experience. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? No one's gonna hurt you for messing up or anything.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Yeah.
Cool. We have a couple more questions coming in, and then we're going to wrap this up, guys, probably about the next 10 or 15 minutes, so get those last questions in. I did have one pop up here from a buddy, Charlie. He said, Luke, can you show the trailer, please? I did show the trailer at the beginning of the show, but you know what? I mean, it's only it's less than a minute long, so I think it's worth showing the trailer one more time for the Bound Control.
Yeah.
Give you a chance to kind of breathe there for a second too, Shin, because I know this has been a pretty busy show. So
it's good. Questions.
Really good. A lot of them. So keep them coming, guys. Keep those questions coming. Like I said, we got about another 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up and let Shin get some rest from his busy lifestyle there. So kick back and relax, guys, for just a minute and check out the brand new Bound Control just released today. So if you have any other questions about it, you can post those for us too. We'll be right back. All right, guys, there you go. Your look again at the Bound Control, a Shen Lim production. This is something that he saw and just had to share with the Magic community. And we're really glad that he did, and we're glad that he's here to answer any questions that you might have about it. And we're so excited. You know, there's been all this buzz online. I mentioned this earlier on Instagram. You've been posting clips, and people said, it's not real, but it's real and then some. And that's what I love about it. So, yes. Here's a question for you, Shen, from another one of your releases here on Facebook. My buddy TJ is saying, Shen, would you recommend for close-up 52 Shades or 52 Shades Volume 2?
Definitely Volume 2.
Volume 2.
The Volume 1 was when I was kind of like, I knew what I wanted for the black art material, but it wasn't the perfect kind. Okay. And Volume 2 was when I finally found the right material, and I was like, okay, people need to know about this, because this black art is completely, like, it's not completely invisible. I mean, if you perform in the daylight, people see it, but if even under bad lighting conditions, like if the spotlight was a little bit too bright, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Is it true, by the way, and I haven't seen the show, it's not that I don't want to, because I actually really like what he's doing for Magic, Is it true that Dynamo uses a version of the Dream Act or 52 Shades
No,
for
he doesn't do Dream Act. He does 52 Shades.
It's 52 Shades, but he does it as part of his live touring show, right?
Yes. Yes, he opens with it.
That's sick, dude. Which
Yeah.
a big testament to you and your work
Yeah.
that it could translate
And
to something.
for the Illusionists, they had me close with 52 Shades.
Wow, that's
Close
sick.
the show. So.
That's sick, man. I love that. Did you ever imagine you'd see your? I mean, he's selling out arenas, dude. Did you ever imagine your magic would play to crowds that big? That's insane.
That's crazy. No, I wouldn't. It was so crazy when he asked me. He was like, "Hey, can I perform it?" And I was like, and it was actually, it's a funny story because that guy is one of the hardest working magicians out there.
Well
really.
said, yeah.
And kudos to him because he only had like 3 weeks or something before his tour started. I think he hurt his hand or something like that. He had an injury.
Wow.
So he needed some sort of backup routine, I think, and 52 Shades was that. And then now he's just doing it. And now he's just using it for his tour. So
Yeah, that's great, dude. I love it. I love it for you because it's just like, again, I said this earlier, but like, here's this young guy, Shen Lim, 25 years old. As you see and you're hearing, this guy has gotten where he is by no accident. Hard work and dedication has gotten this guy to where he is. And guys, I've said it before, I'm like a broken record, but I think it's worth saying again. There is no shortcut in this industry. If you want to get to the top, if you want to get good, I mean, you're looking at a guy right now that has done that and then some. And it took nothing but hard work to get there. So anyone can do this stuff if you want to put in the time. Isn't that right, Shen?
that's correct. Hey, Ben Jackson. I'm in America now. You can call me. Sorry, I haven't picked up your calls. I've been away. Yeah. So any of my friends who are watching, if I didn't pick up your phone call, it's purely because I was not in the country. So,
yeah.
It's actually better to just Facebook message me. Yeah.
All right.
For even for like fans, if you want to like ask questions or something, just yeah,
Cool.
Send a Facebook message.
All right. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, you can tell just from watching the show, Shin's a very approachable guy, so don't be shy. This is a good question that came in. It was a specific. This one came in over on Facebook, and I'm going to pull it up right now. We're going to start to wrap this up in just a minute, Shin. This one comes from Peter. Peter says, what's your opinion on Stuart Gordon double F? What's your double F? So I guess it's more of a specific question, like, if it's not the Stuart Gordon, what do you like?
Yeah, that's so funny that you said that's the one I do.
All right.
Yeah, that's the double lift I do. So I don't know any. Well, if I do the triple lift, I do this one here.
Oh, let me go back to this single shot for you.
Yeah, if I do the triple lift, then I do this one. Because I feel like when you get to triple or quadruple, that's when you have a little bit too many cards to try to hide. So you got to kind of keep it close to the deck. Stuart Gordon is great because it's only 2 cards, so you can kind of go away from the deck. Mm-hmm. But once you get a little bit more than that, then you gotta kind of keep it close to the deck of cards.
All right. Cool. I'm going to ask a funny question now because I can tell just from chatting with you here you're going to be good for it, so we're good. This one came in from Juan Hernandez. Who's a better Shin Rim? You or Patrick Kuhn? You were the Kuhnster. What do you think about that one?
Definitely Patrick. He does the accent just perfectly.
When I saw that clip, I couldn't stop laughing.
Mine, so there's also that. So.
Yeah, too funny, dude. I love it. Conjuring Deception over on Facebook saying you're a genius. I saw you on Fullest. Yeah, I mean that show, dude. That just catapult. I know you would come from FISM, and you already crushed. Wasn't it FISM that you came from, and you crushed that?
Yeah, it was right after. Kind of good timing. It was FISM, and then Fullest, like a week after I won FISM.
God, you just came in and crushed it.
So the timing was just like, yeah, it was kind of too perfect almost.
Here's a question I saw earlier, and I'll kind of ask this as we start to wrap this up. You've done so much, and I wouldn't say a short amount of time, but you're still young, so you have nothing but time left in your life. What do you think your overall goal, and I know someone asked this, and I wish I could remember who did, but I want to get the question out. What do you think your main goal is with Magic now, or do you have like smaller goals? Like, do you have one big thing? It's like, man, I want to do this with Magic.
Eventually have like a whole show, because right now I have maximum like 40 minutes of Magic. Okay. So eventually I want to have my whole repertoire to be an hour and a half, 2 hour show, but like each routine is just as good as Dream Actor 52 Shades. Like each routine will have to be just as powerful or more powerful than the one before. So like I don't want to like kind of like not cop out, but you know, I don't want to buy illusions from someone and then just do it in my show. So
all right, I'm really surprised what you said earlier, about doing an illusion. That's pretty cool. This, I'm going to run this clip real quick. I mentioned it earlier and I got off track because we've got so many questions. This one does come from our buddy Krish. I'm going to play this real quick, and this is just, again, someone that has some kind words about you, and I think he had a quick question for you too. So I'm going to run this real quick, and we'll be right back.
I forgot to add this in the video, but you're a true inspiration, man. You're a legend, and I'd like to say, even though something happened to your hand, I have no idea what that was. So could you give me a story about that as well? And, dude, you're a true inspiration. Peace out.
So there we go. That was more of just a little look and some kind words. We did talk about your hand earlier, so you don't have to go back into that because you did mention he heard something happen to your hand.
I don't think I heard the question. It was muted. So
got it. Okay. Well, yeah. Basically, what he said was, to sum it up, was that he's very, very inspired by you. You're a big inspiration to him. I don't know if you saw the logo pop up in the clip there.
It's popping up now, the video on my screen, but it's kind of delayed. So
yeah, a little bit. So yeah, he just wanted to say that they're your big inspiration and the stuff with the hand. I guess, is there anything that you could take away from the whole hand experience and maybe kind of share with guys that if they think that I can't do this or that, like you fought through, you made it, maybe found...
Yeah, it's never... You'll think it's over. Like, I definitely thought my career was over. Second day of surgery, I was like, yep, I'm done with magic. I gotta go find a different hobby. Like, I was so depressed for like 3 months because I couldn't pick up. I could only use my right hand, and I tried to do as much as possible with my right hand, and it's just I needed my left hand, and so I decided, what, I'm just gonna try my best through physical therapy and really, really work at it. And there is the light at the end of the tunnel, so it's there. You just got to push through it, and it's gonna be really hard at first, but. And those of you who've been through injuries will probably know what I'm talking about. But it's possible, and you can definitely do it. So.
Cool. All right. Very wise words, sir. I appreciate that. I think that's pretty much going to be the end of the Q&A session here. I've had you now for almost an hour and a half. I did want to have mentioned here that you talked to me a little bit earlier today that you're going to be heading back to Macau and you're going to be performing again at the House of Magic. Can you give us any details about that? And if people would like to come see you, if you're, if they're in that part of the world,
I think July, sometime in July to September. Those are the dates.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's in Macau. Macau is like right next to Hong Kong. So if you live in Hong Kong, you already know, take a ferry over to Macau. Yeah, and we perform at the Studio City Hotel. And yeah, it's a 1.5 hour show with Franz Ferrari as the closing act, and then I'll be one of the acts as well, one of the main acts in the show.
Cool. So, can you give guys that have never been there? I've seen footage online. I've seen some stuff that Franz has shared online, but the House of Magic in general. Can you kind of summarize and kind of let people know what it is? Because I know a lot of us have never had a chance to go.
It's one of a kind theater. Like you'll never see anything like it. What happens is you're kind of well, first there's two groups of people. So usually you go with your friends, and you kind of go to one theater at a time, and you kind of switch between theaters. And each theater has a magician. So I'm in one of the theaters, and once the magician finishes, you get transported into the other theater. Once you finish that one, you get transported into the last theater, which is the mega theater. That's where Franz performs. And then after that, that's the end of the show, and then you leave. So it's the entire. It's not just one big theater. It's 3 theaters together, and you kind of just rotate. It's really cool.
That's really cool. Is it kind of like a Magic Castle-esque type of environment, or totally different, or?
I've actually never been to Magic Castle, so maybe I don't know. I don't know how they do it in Magic Castle. So
okay. And then one last question, just about kind of like the future with you, and then I'll let you get out of here. Yaniv over on Facebook's asking, will you create new routines? I guess to summarize that, can we expect to see more Shen Lim magic hitting the market anytime in the near future? That's a good question.
Yeah, I think you're going to probably see less tricks, more routines coming out.
Okay.
So more stuff like 52 Shades, DreamHack type stuff.
Sweet. Do you have any timelines? Any nuggets you can give guys as far as when or
Definitely this year.
this year? That's fair
Do
enough.
one Shin Lim product coming out this year.
Okay.
And then one Shin Lim routine next year, probably. So.
All right. And again, guys, don't forget about the brand new bound control. This is a brand new thing, just released today. And we are excited to have Shin here. He kind of helped us to debut this. And again, you can pick that up from your favorite dealer today. It's a download, so you can learn it right now, which is the really exciting thing. And once again, guys, if you want to have a chance to win, over on Facebook, post a comment, maybe tell us why you should learn it, or maybe how Shin has inspired you, or just post something that has some meaning to it. We'll pick one of you guys next week to win a free copy of that. And over on YouTube, same thing. Of course, post the comments after the video goes up as an on-demand, because your comments you're posting right now, they disappear like magic, like a cloud in the wind. They just go away for some reason. YouTube doesn't like to save those, so you got to do that. But yeah, there we go. So that is the brand new thing from Shen Lim. And Shin, I just want to say thank you, for your time.
Had a good time. Great questions, guys. Really.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more, and I wish we could get to all of them, but we only, we're limited on time. And of course, Shin's trying to relax from his travels and all that good stuff. So Shin, again, we appreciate the time, and we're very excited to hear how people are working on the bound control. I'm sure we'd love to see guys posting stuff on Instagram and on Facebook and all that when they learn how to do it, to see some clips, right? So,
yeah,
awesome.
Definitely.
All right. Yeah. And I'm put you on the spot. You think maybe we could have you back on one of these days?
Yeah, of course, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, if you guys want to.
Well, yeah,
let us know.
I think that's a given. So, Shen Lim, the floor is yours for the next few seconds here. If any of the guys want to keep up with you on any of those social platforms, where can they find Mr. Shen Lim if they don't know where you're at already? Say that one more time.
Shin Lim Magic. So at Shin Lim Magic.
Okay.
So Instagram at Shin Lim Magic, Facebook, and
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Easy enough. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much, and we are very, very excited to see what else you have in store. And if you guys are out there and you want to see Shin perform, he gave you some spots, but you'll find him somewhere out there because he's not even close to being done yet. So stay tuned for more stuff from Shin.
All right, guys.
All right, cool. Thank you, Shin. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, guys, and a big thank you to all of you for hanging out with us today. We had a blast, trying to keep up with all the questions. You literally were blowing us up today. We really, really appreciate it, and we're really, again, excited about the brand new bound control that Shin produced. It's an amazing control. The trailer that will go up here on the Murphy's socials, you'll see the full trailer again. It's just the tip of the iceberg, again, of what you can do with this new utility move. So you can check that out, and if you want to pick it up today for your favorite dealer. Very easy to find, and it's a digital product, so you can just watch it and learn it, grab your cards, and have some fun. All right, just like I had fun with you guys today, all of you out there. I know I saw a lot of you come and go during the last hour and a half. Again, I know I couldn't get to all of you, but I'm going to give some shout-outs right about now, just in case you think that I forgot about you, because I know I didn't. So I'm going to throw over to Facebook right about now and get some shout-outs, like I always do. Conjuring Deception, thank you for hanging out. See Erwin out there, TJ, Matthew David Sheely, Jonathan Caro, Yaniv, good to see you out there, sir. Can't pronounce your name, but I do see you. Andrew Ziggy, always good to see you, Andrew, out there hanging out with us. Brandon Lee, good to see you, sir. Brandon Barrett, appreciate the questions. Krish, appreciate the video and for hanging out with us. Juan, Brandon, tons and tons of you and more of you out there. So we appreciate all those comments and questions from you guys. I'm not going to forget about my YouTube friends. Let me just pull it up too. I know that you guys are out there. You've been hanging out now, both before and here, during the show and before. I saw a lot of you out there hanging out there too. So I'm going to give some shout outs along the way too for our YouTube friends. I see Tharva, Martone, always good to see you, Martone. Phil Hanlon, Wins, Patrick Alwyn, Hustle Magic, good to see you as always. Greg Williams, great to see you as always, buddy. Jules, Eva, hello. Xena, Tiago, good to see you. Sammy the Sorcerer, Hong Dang, good to see you. Logan, Finn the Joker, lots and lots of you. Tyler Scott, Andrew Ziggy, I saw you earlier too. I'm Jewel, Finn the Joker, and more of you. So I want to thank each and every one of you that has come and gone today. And I hope that you've enjoyed this very special live show with us and our buddy, Mr. Shen Lim. Again, we'd love to have him back. If you guys have any other, special guests you'd like to maybe have us try to get on the show, we would love to hear from you too. So post those comments. And good luck to all of you with your chances to win the Bound Control, the brand new release that just popped up today. All right, cool. I'm going to start to wrap this up the way that I always do. And that's a little reminder from me to you. You heard me say it a couple times with Shin, but I'm going to say it to you one more time. And that is that there really is no substitute for hard work. If you want to be good at this stuff, if you want to get to the level where Shin is, it's actually not that hard. You just got to be willing to work for it. And the rest just kind of takes care of itself. It's not to say that you have some other ways to try to get to where you want to go. You got to take chances. You got to get out there and try. And even when you're afraid of failing, you still have that chance to succeed. You got to put yourself out there if you want to do it. And the one thing I like about Shin that I hope that you take with you too is you've seen the inside look at how humble of a guy that he really is. What a nice guy that he is. And that's something I think we should all try to keep with us. For some reason in Magic, we tend to get like an ego, like blows up our head. Stay grounded, stay cool, and we'll all like you. You know what I mean? And also never forget about the feeling that you had when you first got interested in Magic, however long ago it was. Carry that feeling with you, because that's the feeling that you're passing on to other people too when you perform. You never know when you're going to inspire someone else to perform or be a magician. That's also part of the magic, not just fooling people, not just doing tricks. You also have a chance to affect people in a very positive way. And you never know when someone might become a magician because they saw you. You know, because we all got interested in this stuff, whether it's as a magic kit, maybe you saw it on TV, maybe you saw Shen Lim on YouTube. Maybe that's why you're here. That's the cool thing, right? You just never know. And that's the cool thing is maybe you are now inspiring someone else to be a magician or pick it up and get interested in it. You have that power. So be sure that when you're performing, you're not just doing the tricks and focusing on that. You're also focusing on leaving a good impression of what being a magician really is all about. All right, cool. Try to bring that to you each and every week. A little bit of here, a little bit of there, drop it in, little nuggets, little bits here and there, right? So thank you guys again for joining us. We'll be back again next Wednesday, noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're here each and every week. That's the best part. Unless I'm in California, hanging out with the Murphy's team. I love those guys, and I want to give a big special thanks to all the guys at the Murphy's Warehouse and the studio. Big thanks to Mark Murphy for his hospitality. Big shout out to Michelle and the marketing team with Sydney and Gia and all the guys out there, and of course the people downstairs that run the day-to-day stuff. Great to meet up with them, and just had a really good time. And of course the studio guys, George and Matt, those guys are running a tight ship and doing an amazing job. A lot of hospitality there. I really felt at home, and I can't wait to go back to California and be part of the team again. So right now, Luke Dancy here, coming at you from Las Vegas, wherever you guys are out there in the world. And again, we'll be back again next week to do it all over again. So if you are a new viewer, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Murphy's Magic. You get notified every time we go live. And if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure to turn those notifications on. If you turn them on, then every time we go live, a little pop-up comes up and lets you know that we are live. That's right. We're doing more and more live stuff. I got more shows for you. I'm going to have a new set coming in. All this new stuff for you guys, and I'm getting your feedback. So if you want to see more stuff, if you have anything you like or want to see more of, post your feedback and let me know. That's how we're going to grow this together. That's what we're doing. It's not just me here. We're all of us coming together, little community of us that we're building each and every week. So thanks for all the support, and it's great to see so many familiar faces and to see so many new ones each and every week. And if you are a new viewer, make sure to tell me how you found the show. It's important to me. I want to know. All right. That's about it from me, guys. Thanks again to Mr. Shen Lim for joining me this week. Awesome guest and an even more awesome guy. That's it from me. I'll catch you guys here. We'll do it all over again next week. Sound good? All right, guys. Catch you later. See ya.